Hi, I'm Chef Raphael and welcome to today's episode. Today's a very special one. I'm making homemade pizza on a pan, and here it is. So it's a very simple recipe because even it doesn't have yeast. I'm only using 2 ingredients, yogurt and self-raising flour. Very simple. But the pizza, as you can see, made on a pan, not in the oven. Nice and crispy, delicious. It's a really fun recipe. It's part of my new series, Quick and Simple Meals. Let's get started. So if you're new to the show, make sure you subscribe, or the channel actually. Make sure you subscribe so that you're notified whenever I have a new recipe out. And hit the bell button. The bell button helps you because when I have a new video out, you get a notification on your phone or on email so that you're actually up to date. I have so many recipes in terms of cooking, baking, so scroll, and if you're new especially, and you'll be surprised because I'm all about bringing cooking back. Today's recipe, I'm loving it because it's something a lot of you have been requesting. The pizza, and it's let me start with the ingredients. The ingredients for the filling that I'm using today. I have, for the toppings, I have onion rings, peppers. I have yellow, green, and red. And I also have basil. Basil actually works very well with pizza, but you can also use whatever other herb you have or you like. I also have mozzarella cheese. I've grated some. Mozzarella cheese is best because it has that nice stringy effect when it's melted. It cooks very well, but sometimes you can get away with using cheddar cheese, but also it depends on the type of cheese. Gouda is also good because it's also nice when it cooks. It's nice and stretchy, but mozzarella is the best. I have ham, diced ham. Ham is optional, especially if you want a vegetarian option. I also have black olives. Add to the topping. Again, it's optional. I also have a tomato sauce that I've made. Now for the tomato sauce, what I did is fried some onion, about 1 onion, chopped it, and then blended 5 tomatoes and 3 cloves of garlic. When the onion is soft, cooked but not browned, add the blended tomato and then stir, and then add salt, pepper, and a little bit of sugar so that to balance the tartness of the tomato. And then you have a sauce. You actually want to cook it until it's thickened. So there you have it. I'll put a link on the video, on a previous video that I've done, which has the tomato sauce. Now for the flour, now the dough of the pizza, that's the most fun part because I only have 2 ingredients. We usually have flour, yeast, maybe some salt, sugar or something. But here we only have self-raising flour and plain yogurt. Plain yogurt is 150 ml, and I've actually put it in a cup because I was measuring it. It's about half a cup of plain yogurt, Greek yogurt, natural yogurt, any plain yogurt, not flavored. And self-raising flour is 140 grams as well, which is about 1 cup. It's not fully to the top, it's just under, a little bit under self-raising flour. If you have all-purpose flour and baking powder, you can still use it. So you have 140 grams of all-purpose flour and 1.5 teaspoon of baking powder. So that's it. So you add the plain yogurt to the flour. It's a very simple dough, and that's why I love it. And again, this is a quick pizza recipe. And to be honest, when I made this the first time, it actually tasted like the actual pizza, the pizza that I know. So it's something that you can have in actually about 5 to 10 minutes if you have your ingredients like this ready. The tomato sauce you can make in advance. So sometimes, depending on the amounts that you put, the dough can be a little bit sticky. Here, with some experience I've learned, I add to the 140 grams. Now, it also depends on the flour you have. The original recipe says 140 grams, but you can also get away with 150. But when you start with 140, you just need to keep adding flour until the mixture stops being sticky. That's why you have some on the side. We are not going to overwork this dough until it stops being sticky. That's it. Now, I'm going to divide it into two. This dough actually gives me about 2 pizzas, 24 centimeter in diameter. Remember, I'm making this in on a pan. So divide it into two. So 24 centimeter, if you're using a larger pan, let's say 28 centimeters, maybe you need slightly bigger dough. Just need to make it into a ball. Dust your surface generously because it tends to stick. So the idea is to roll it into a nice round shape. But to be honest, even if it's not a perfect round, it will still be tasty. And don't roll it too thin. You want it to leave it a little bit thick, or at least until a diameter that will actually be 24 centimeters, because so that it actually fits on your pan. So you want to turn on your heat first so that the pan becomes hot. Try and approximate, get the measurement right, and try and even out the thickness. Now, another way you can tell if it's 24 centimeters, if you have a plate that is the same size of your pan, you can place it on top and then trim off the edges. That's another way. So when the pan is hot, we want to first cook the first side. And then for the other dough that you have, just place it somewhere that it won't dry up. You can cover it with a cling film if you want to cook it after this. So you want to cook the first side until it's slightly browned. So as it starts cooking, what will happen, you'll actually start seeing it rise. So far so good. You want it to start browning a little bit. And the reason why we do this is because we don't want it to be, because we actually cook it on a pan, we want it to give it time to cook. You can't do it like the normal pizza in an oven. So that's good. You want it a little bit browned like the way it is, that's fine. Because that means on the first side is actually cooked. Now, we also now want it to cook on the second side, but while that is happening now, this is where we need to start putting our toppings. Start with the tomato sauce. It helps if you're using a ladle, because the ladle is what now will help you spread it on the bread, on the pizza dough. Place it on the center and then go around spreading it. You don't need too much. Just need enough to cover. If you put too much, it will be too soggy, too wet, which might not be so nice. I'll start arranging the peppers. And then if you like ham also, when you dice them, it actually makes it nicer. You want small pieces like that. And then finally the cheese. Now mozzarella, especially when it's at room temperature, tends to melt, become soft and come together, becomes like one lump. So the tip of grating mozzarella is grate it when it's cold, and then leave it in the fridge, and then when you're ready to start spreading it on top of the pizza, it's still easy to spread when it doesn't lump together, because it will be melted. It will be individual, like grated, the way it will be when it's freshly grated. So I love cheese, so I will add slightly more. And then it's at this stage, you take a lid and cover, and then leave it on medium heat. Remember, we don't want it to overcook on the bottom. Medium heat, and this will take about 4 minutes until the cheese is nicely melted on top. So it's ready. Remove from the heat. And now, one thing you have to be careful with this, making it on a pan, and as you can see, the cheese is melted. The under part of the pizza is actually crusty. You can see it's a little bit crusty, which is what we want. And the cheese is melted. In fact, what happened here is that it moved a little bit. And then you can finish it off with some basil leaves. You can either put small pieces, or you can chop them up. So like that, and then cut it. I'll do it into 4. And there is our pizza on a pan. It's crusty on the bottom. Now, like I said, you have to be careful with the amount of heat, because if it's too much, it can easily burn. This one is crispier than I would want it to, so it's also about preference. And when it comes to taste, it's actually really good. The bottom side looks like it's slightly burnt, but I like the crustiness. And then the cheese on top, and then the toppings, the tomato sauce, it's perfecto. And it's on a pan. In about 5 minutes cooking preparation, it's something that can actually take about 10 minutes. So this is something I've always been looking forward to doing a pizza recipe, because of the many requests that I get. And here is a perfect pizza recipe that you can do with very few ingredients, yogurt and self-raising flour. And I hope you've learned something new today. This is my new series of videos, quick meals, and I hope you've liked this one. I'm looking forward to your comments, and let me know how yours turns out. And until next time, I'm signing out. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.